Hi, Cleveland County. Well, it's July, it's tomato season, and we're where the tomatoes are being grown. I'd like to introduce you to Clay Hefner. He owns and manages and runs Indian Creek Farms. Now, they do a whole lot more grow here than they do tomatoes, but tomatoes is our target vegetable for the month of July. So Clay, tell us a little bit about how the farm got started.
Yeah, we started pretty small, just with a couple rows of tomatoes, and figured out how to sell them. That was the main thing. And once we figured that out, we grew from there. So every year we get a little bit bigger and a little bit more efficient. So been here about 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Well, tell us where the Indian Creek name comes from.
Yeah, we're on Indian Creek here in Lincoln County, and we pump all our irrigation water out of Indian Creek. So the name fits. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so where all does it run through Lincoln County?
Yeah,
Or?
it actually starts way up in western Lincoln County and runs all the way down to the South Fork River, almost in Gaston County, where it connects with South Fork. So.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is quite an operation, I will tell you. So with all these tomatoes, so you hand stake each one of these, and then you go around. As they get taller, do you continue to wrap your string around?
Yeah, we tie some varieties 3-4 times, some varieties 7, 8, 9 times.
My
Yeah.
word, yeah. Well, I have to tell you, and I hope y'all can see how big these tomatoes are. I mean, one of these tomatoes would make like 3 or 4 tomato sandwiches.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we try to grow big, especially on the reds and heirlooms. Get them big, so that's what everybody likes.
And what other things do you grow here? I know corn to me is another big thing that you grow.
Yep, corn, cantaloupes, cucumbers, squash, half-runner beans, pumpkins, winter squash, different things like that. We grow cold crops in the spring. Just about every vegetable that people eat around here, we at some point in time we grow it. So.
Wow, that's wonderful. And now, do you sell at the farmer's market?
Yeah, sell at the farmers market. We got a couple farmers markets, and we got 2 produce stands. So we stay pretty busy selling.
Where are the produce stands?
I got one in Lincoln on East Main Street, out in Boger City, and then I got one in Hickory in the Viewmont area of Hickory.
So, and of course that requires a lot of help to pick all these vegetables, and so you're quite the employer as well.
Yeah, we got about 15 to 20 people, depending on time of year, that work for us. So.
Well, that's good. You're providing a living for all these people, so that's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah.
How do you select your varieties of tomatoes? Do they vary every year?
Sometimes, yeah. Some of them are mainstays, and some of them depends on what people prefer and what the market wants. That's the main thing, what you can sell. So.
Yeah. But you kind of had to figure out that the year before, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, something comes out new every year, so it's just trial and error.
Well, now, when I was at the farmer's market in Shelby, I saw all those tiny, a huge bucket full of, do you call them cherry tomatoes?
Yeah, like grape tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, stuff like that. Yep.
Now, do they grow separately from these big ones that we see here?
Yeah, we just have different rows of them.
Okay. And I believe you said that you pick the red ones once a week.
Yeah, sometimes twice a week, but we've been staying on top of them. We'll go get them once a week, so some of them will be lighter color, some of them will be real dark red. So
Okay.
we don't have to pick them too often. Now, the heirlooms we pick every day or every other day.
Okay. And so you know which are where.
Oh yeah.
You've got a map, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now I noticed we'll show pictures of these. They're big buckets of tomatoes. There are lots of green along with the red. What do people do with the green ones?
Well, the green ones are already they might have just a little bit of red showing on them, and they're matured. And by tomorrow, the next day, they'll be pretty good red color.
Oh, okay.
Once they get mature, we go ahead and get them off there in case something was to happen, a storm or a lot of rain or hail or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Good. Well, I've been so impressed, and I love, this is sand, this is your soil, right?
Yeah.
So this is like creek bottom soil.
Yeah, some of it sandy loam.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Well, I guess it's perfect for whatever you want to grow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, listen, Clay, we can't thank you enough for this. And folks, just be sure and go by Indian Creek Stand there at the Farmers Market in Cleveland County, in Shelby. If you're anywhere else, you heard where his other stands are as well. Well, we ought to have a tomato sandwich, Clay.
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, folks. We're going to be in the kitchen right away, and Nancy Abassier Kong is going to show you how to can tomatoes. Woohoo!
Listen up. Do you have a passion for cooking? A desire to learn more about the craft of professional food preparation? If so, now's a great time to check out Cleveland Community College's brand new Culinary Arts Academy. This exciting 3-month program offers hands-on training for jobs in the food service industry. Across the nation, food service is one of the fastest growing industries. With your training at CCC's Culinary Arts Academy, you can compete for jobs in hotels, restaurants, conference centers, cruise ships, and other settings. Enroll in CCC's program and you'll gain in-depth training in food procedures, preparation, and commercial kitchen operations. Plus, the program includes a special add-on. You'll get your certificate in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR training. You can earn good money too. Depending on where you work, starting salaries range from $20,000 to $50,000. In just 12 weeks, you can be well on your way to gaining the know-how to handle food safely, properly, as a true professional. Now ask yourself, are you ready to start your journey today at CCC?
Hi everyone. At CCC, students are busy registering for the fall semester. We are staying flexible with how we offer classes, in person and online, so we can meet students' needs and interests. Our team can help you enroll, apply for financial aid, register, and get the answers you need. We continue to monitor COVID-related news and do everything we can to safeguard the well-being of our students, employees, and visitors. So come join us, register now, and keep moving forward.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I would tell anybody that's interested in getting broadcasting that this is a really exciting field to be in. The possibilities are endless. And every day is different. There's always something new. You're always on your toes. I think the good thing about, a school like Cleveland Community College is they're really good at keeping up with the latest technologies. My experience with the broadcasting program has been everything and more. I've hosted a television show here. I've done radio shows, I've made my own commercials, all kinds of exciting things, digital animation, and I've never thought I'd have a career in news that I enjoy. It's just really exciting to, have a career where you're in control of what 2 million people in the area are watching every night. It's really exciting and enriching and fulfilling work. It doesn't feel like a job. I mean, I get to hang around all day and make television. I mean, just listen to that.
Now the question is, are you ready to start your journey today?
Hi, Cleveland County. Welcome back. We've just been to see where tomatoes grow at Indian Creek Farms. And now we're at the County Extension Kitchen here on the campus of the Health Department and so forth and so on, across from Cleveland Community College. And we have today Nancy Abassier Kong. She's going to pull 2 duties today. We're going to talk, Nancy, about the nutrition of tomatoes, why we need to eat them. And then, folks, we're going to show you how you can preserve, through the canning process, our wonderful, and this is a fruit. Am I correct?
It
Tomatoes?
is, technically it's a fruit.
A fruit.
And we mostly use it as a vegetable because we usually use it in savory dishes. But it is technically a fruit.
Okay, good. And that has to do something with the seeds and the
Seeds.
whatever.
That's right.
Okay, okay. So, our fruit, of which there are multiple kinds. There are multiple varieties of tomatoes. And I believe this is this a purple Cherokee?
That's right. Cherokee purple,
Okay.
which is an heirloom tomato.
Oh, okay.
Those are
okay.
some of the heirloom varieties.
And heirloom means what?
One of the older varieties, and of course now there are lots of changes and new tomato varieties that are out there. But these heirlooms go back, I'm not sure just exactly how far, but they have a more traditional tomato taste
I got
and
you.
so forth.
Well, I know they're one of my favorite kinds. So why in the world would we eat a tomato, Nancy?
Okay, well, tomatoes are another one of the nutrient-dense foods or products. And we've talked about those before. When we are eating and choosing what we're going to eat, we want to get things that have some nutrition and nutritional value for us. So with tomatoes, they are packed with vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and lycopene, which is an antioxidant, and that gives it the red color.
Oh,
The
yes.
lycopene, and actually you have more of the lycopene when in a cooked tomato product.
It's sort of released from the cells then when you cook it.
That nutrient, there is more of it, a little more concentrated in the cooked, but eating fresh tomatoes is also, we get all of these other nutrients, including lycopene, also from eating just raw or fresh tomatoes.
Well, that's good.
And
That's
where
the easy way to do it. But, folks, we all know that we can only get fresh tomatoes at the farmer's market in the summertime.
Right, when we're thinking locally grown or our local products, then, and one thing with Cleveland County Kitchen we're trying to emphasize is the seasonality of all fruits and
Absolutely.
vegetables.
Yes.
So with different regions of the country, they would have different seasons. California, we are able to get tomatoes, in Florida, different things, but if they're
Plus
locally
our
grown,
hydroponic farm here
that's
in
right.
the county.
which we featured, the hydroponic farm, with our tomatoes maybe 2 years ago when it was brand new. So you can go back to clevelandcountykitchen.org and find out all about lots of different products.
Right.
But tomatoes are good for you, delicious, low calorie, no sodium, so lots of positive things. But and you will have a health benefits fact sheet.
Oh, okay.
This
Well,
is from
that's
the
good.
University of Kentucky.
And that's on the webpage.
That will be on our website.
Okay.
And it does say that with the studies show that the tomatoes and tomato products even have been shown to help reduce the ovarian cancer risk, some digestive cancer risk, as well as cardiovascular disease.
Wow.
So we can see that this is one of the, again,
A
lots
health
of nutrients
pill in a tomato.
in a tomato. That's
All
right.
right. Well, Nancy, since our fresh tomatoes aren't as fresh in the wintertime, we're going to show our folks how we can keep that nutritional value, put it in a jar that you can share with your family on Christmas Day.
Oh, yes. And
So
just think
how do
of-
we start, Nancy?
All right. And with tomato soups and vegetable soups and so forth. Now you'll notice that this is during our coronavirus time. Deborah's wearing her mask and I am not at this point. I have been wearing it up until this time, but we are social distancing.
We are.
And we will continue doing that just with this much heat and talking. So what I want to show, what we'll start with is what we do with the tomatoes when we bring them home.
Yes.
And when you bring them home, this is one of the products that goes on the shelf, on the counter. You don't refrigerate tomatoes.
Correct. That's a very important thing.
So just put
never
them-
refrigerate
Until you've cut
a
them.
whole tomato.
Right. So when you have them,
Perfect.
you want them just on the counter. And then when we are ready to use a tomato or to can a tomato, then we start by washing.
Okay.
So that's when you wash the tomato.
Right.
And we're going to, and what we have done is to peel the tomatoes, and we've got one ready to peel, but to do that in a quick way, just have a pot of boiling water
Okay.
that you lower your washed tomato into the boiling water.
Okay.
And then after 30 to 60 seconds or so, then take that out and put it in a bowl of ice water.
Ice water,
Right,
yes.
just in the ice water to stop the cooking.
Okay.
And the skin will start to crack and
Right.
check. It may start even while it's in the can, in the boiling water,
Right.
but it will with the ice water. Then we take it out of that and we're ready to peel, which is what this is ready
Okay,
for.
so I'm going to let
So
you
if
do
you'll-
that, Nancy.
All righty. So this is one that Savannah, we have a summer intern from NC State this summer. So Savannah Howard and I worked on these this morning. So you can see how easily that peels. So we would just peel that.
So you
and-
could actually do that and use that tomato as a sliced tomato for a tomato sandwich.
You could.
Right.
You could. So,
So that's better than, cutting and peeling,
having
which
to
I've
peel
done
if you
so many
So
of, but
once
the
you-
ice water stops the cooking process. so
Exactly.
there
And
you
then now
go.
we will core the tomato. And when you're coring or cutting, be sure that you put, I would use my cutting board, but I'm just going to finish it up on this plate. We'll just take that core out, and then now we have that tomato ready. And what we are doing, we could can them whole or halves or quarters, and we did halves.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave that unhalved, just in case it's a tomato sandwich.
Oh, there
Then
we
I-
go.
I
What a
want us to
great
be ready
idea.
for
Good-
that.
good
So,
deal.
okay, so once we had them peeled and cut.
And cut.
And we got about 8 cups is what with the number of tomatoes that we had.
Okay.
So we put
And they
them-
were purchased at the farmer's market, folks.
That's right. We are so fortunate to have such a
Right,
great.
from in Indian Creek, and we also have several other farmers that are growing tomatoes that sell at the farmer's market.
So we've got, we put our tomatoes in a kettle, in a deep pot, and just barely cover them with water. Because this method is, we looked at the instructions, it is half tomatoes in water.
Okay.
You can do in juice or so forth, but the processing time, and there are some variations on that. So this is
So can
ready.
you pick one up and just show what it looks like?
Okay, so here we
Okay.
have,
Right.
and the liquid then is watery,
Right.
is watery.
Right.
But because we now have some juice, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that off.
Okay.
And now we have our canner. Now this is a boiling water bath canner. And with that, we would,
Is there any way you can pick that up, Nancy, to show our people?
well, what I will do is we'll be using some equipment. This is a jar lifter.
Okay.
So we can-
What's in here,
We have
Is-
8 jars.
and there are handles right here, that if we could pick that up, which I think would be really too heavy, Nancy, do you
Well,
think?
it is pretty heavy, and what we want to do is not tip them all over. But here
Oh,
we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So,
just
and
like
that will actually sit up here.
Oh, wow.
So you can do that as you fill your canner. So with that, we're using a jar lifter, and we have, you can reuse your jars, and that's going to wobble. So I'm going to set it down now that you've seen it, because as I start
Oh,
to
that's,
lift.
that's fine,
Okay.
that's fine. Thank you
And
for
then,
that, yeah.
right,
Oh,
in the
good.
interest of time, you start also in a water bath canner. We are going to have water 1 inch to 2 inches over the top of the jars.
Okay, so you'll
Which-
have to add more water then.
Right, and part of that is going to be with the water that is in the jar.
Right,
So we fill,
Ah.
yeah, we filled up the jars and put them in, washed them, and while they're hot, we've got our canner on, then we're going to put the jars in, keeping them hot. They're not boiling. And then, because we don't have to sterilize these jars because we are going to be processing for more than 10 minutes.
Yes, which will
So,
sterilize.
That's right.
Okay.
That will sterilize at that time.
Okay,
So now what,
remember, we've cut up all these tomatoes and put them in here and heated them up.
and we've got we're
Oh,
using
how
a funnel.
convenient is that?
Yes.
Okay.
And now we are going to put in
Okay.
some of our tomatoes and
That are in
juice.
halves.
Mhm.
Tomatoes and
And you'll
juice.
see it.
Oh, perfect. Now, keep in mind, folks, we're doing halve tomatoes here for whatever you would want to do with the recipe that you have. But my only experience with canning, I would just cook all the whole tomato. So you can get more tomatoes if you cook them up first and put them in the jar. And what do you need?
Right, and which is cooking. I'm going to take out one of these because we're going to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. And let's see.
So that is for expansion reasons?
Right.
Is that why you would do that?
Right, every product, it will expand as it's heated.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
we are putting then, we have some are 1/2 inch, some are jams and jellies would be 1/4 inch. Your like beans and some things might be 1 inch.
Okay.
So your instruction sheet will tell you how much headspace.
Perfect.
And that is important to do. Now, the other thing with before we measure that, we have to add acid.
Oh, yes.
Remember, we talked about the
We
acid.
did.
It's over there.
It's over here.
And for a pint, it is
Okay.
1 tablespoon of bottled lemon juice or lime juice. Not fresh in this instance, because we don't know what the acid level would be in fresh. So,
Oh,
but
from a
this,
squeezed
from
lemon, of
from one that
course,
you
of course,
squeeze
sure.
yourself. So
you mean
you're
lemons
using,
don't come in a jar, right?
right, but do buy them in some form of this, or you
Very
can
good.
use frozen lemon juice.
Oh, okay.
So if you have
Sure.
frozen lemon juice that's commercial.
Sure, sure.
And ordinarily we could put this in the jar first.
Okay.
So once you take
Oh,
it
I
out,
would think that
then
would be
put
more
put it
reasonable.
in,
Yeah.
which either way is fine because
So
it's
1
going
tablespoon per jar.
per pint.
Oh,
And
per,
if
yeah,
it's
per pint.
if it's
sorry.
a quart, it's 2
Okay,
tablespoons.
all right.
And
And the reason for the acid, Nancy, is very important.
Right. Botulinum, of course, we're all familiar with botulism. That is,
Well, not
could be.
everybody is, but it's a
Well,
bacteria that can kill you.
It can kill you. And it is it can be in any vegetable, anything.
Right.
So when you're canning anything that's low in acid, and tomatoes are about 4.6
Okay.
on the scale, which is still, it's moderate, but we still have to add acid.
All right.
Whether you are canning them in the water bath canner or in the pressure canner, you would always add acid.
Remember that, folks. That's so
Always.
important.
And go ahead and put it in, when you take your jar out, just to be sure you don't forget it, put it in, put your
First,
lemon
and
juice
then
in.
put the
Then put
tomatoes
your
in.
tomatoes
That
in.
sounds good.
And then.
All right, and Nancy, we're gonna roll on here pretty quickly.
All right, so then we're gonna wipe off. We've checked, we want a 1/2 inch headspace, and that is here.
Of course, you can use a ruler for that too, folks. You don't have to have all these fun gadgets.
Right, but you do, and if you may have a funnel
Oh,
that has a
that also
marking
does
on it.
that. Well, that's pretty
right.
cool.
Then we'll remove air bubbles, and you can use this same tool. If you don't have this, a plastic knife or something, but what you
Right.
don't want to do is put a
Metal?
because you
Because
don't
of
want
the
to
acid.
scratch. You don't want to scratch the jar.
Oh.
And of course,
okay.
when we think about reusing jars,
Yes.
you just need to check them before you use
Okay.
them. And at one time, we had to season the
Which would be
the-
like sterilizing, just boil them in water. We don't have to do that anymore. Oh, wait, Nancy, I wanted to use my little magnet thing.
Okay,
Miss
good.
Fun,
That's
that's a
right.
tool that I think, that I think is too much fun. Ah! Won't let
And you're
go.
just going to finger tighten. So we're
Okay.
not getting as strong as we possibly could be.
Okay.
But we'll just finger tighten.
Oh,
And then again,
okay.
using your jar lifter, because that is hot, and you're going into hot water.
Back in hot
Back
water.
into hot water. And
Okay.
you want to keep the jar just straight up and down. Also,
Okay.
don't tilt it. And just go in.
But again, what we could put in there is like tomatoes that I used to do, just cook them all up.
Right.
And then put them in there.
Right, which would
Okay.
be the same as what we're
Right.
doing. We just cut them in half and simmered them.
Right.
With just a little bit of water.
Right, good.
So there
All
are
right,
other
Nancy, and
other
I
methods.
do want to have people at least hear about pressure cookers.
Okay.
And when that could happen. So I'm sorry I might have interrupted here.
I'll just say one more thing about
Yes.
this. After you have everything in here, all your jars, if the water level is not 1 inch to 2 inches over the top, add some additional hot water.
Okay.
Then you'll have this on
Yes.
at medium high.
Yes, yes.
Then once it comes back to a boil is when you
Okay.
start counting your processing time.
Okay.
Which we would, of course, put the lid on and process 40 minutes for pints once it comes to a
40
boil.
minutes. What
40
about for
minutes.
quarts?
45 for quarts.
Okay, okay.
Now, when the processing time ends, we'll wait 5 minutes, then take the lid off.
Okay.
And when you take it out, there will be water on top of the canner.
Yes,
On top
on
of the
top of
jar.
the lid,
There
yes.
isn't here because we
Yeah,
didn't
right,
get it all
right.
full. But don't drain that water off.
Wow.
Don't tilt it. Just take it out.
Wow.
And set it on a wire rack or towels that
towel.
are folded
Yes.
out of a draft and leave it 12 to 24 hours.
Wow, okay.
Do not press on the top of the jar
Yeah, right,
to test it.
right.
But you will begin to hear it pinging
Pop.
while
It'll wake
it is
you up
cooling.
at night if you have the door open.
Right, you'll be so anxious to hear that. So then it will,
Okay.
then you wipe off. Be sure to label.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you can
that's
label
good.
right on top
And you
of the
don't have to
jar.
leave the ring on. I
Take
always
off-
thought you had to leave the ring on.
That's right. Take off your ring,
Oh,
which
who
I
knew
had
that?
put these on as just something to show you to take off.
Yeah.
Or if you're putting them on the shelf in a cool, dark place, then
Right.
you're good.
Right, right. And Nancy, I'm sorry, we're going to run out of time.
Okay. A couple of things about a pressure cooker.
Yes.
Canner. You can do tomatoes in the pressure canner.
Yes.
If you're doing it with other items, low acid, you do
Yes.
have to use that.
Like zucchini and tomatoes, would that
right,
not be
okra
yummy?
and tomatoes, any of that.
But
you would
any
have
of
to-
that has to be done in a pressure cooker.
And also, you need to have your dial type pressure canner tested every year for
Yeah, and
accuracy.
who knew that? Gee.
And don't,
They do that here.
right, we do it here
At
free
County
of charge.
Extension.
Just call for an appointment.
Yeah.
So be sure we're here. And don't submerge your lid. You don't want to get this dial wet.
Right, right, right.
Call with any questions.
Folks, we're going to have guess what? We're going to have tomato sandwiches, if I can get this up here, for lunch after the show. Thank you all for watching.
Happy
Watch us-
canning.
Happy canning.